Hello and welcome everybody. In this video, you're going to watch a lovely tour of the motherboard. You're going to see me remove this large heatsink right here with all these auxiliary hard drive spots. And then I'll install a hard drive here. That was meant to be my main hard drive. It's not super fast, but it's just the hard drive that I picked, not worried about it. And then you'll see me realize when I mount the motherboard to my case, I have to remove this heatsink to do that. And when I remove it, I realize, oh, the M2.CPU slot is right here. And this is probably the Gen 5, probably the fastest one that they have on here. And so that's where I want it, even though my SSD that I picked out probably won't run that fast. I wanted it mounted right here. So you'll watch me move it from this slot into this slot. And then I just reinstall these heat sinks. And feel free to leave the video now if that's all you wanted to know, is where do you mount your SSD on an AORUS, a Gigabyte AORUS master motherboard. It's under this heatsink, not this one. And I may mount another additional one underneath here. And one more thing I want to mention. In this video, you'll watch me peel up all of this tape, this protective tape. There's like thermal tape on the top that I peel off. I reapplied that because in hindsight, I wanted to keep that on. And I didn't realize that at the time. I was just reading what I was seeing here and just taking it at face value. So I make some mistakes here making this video, so hopefully you don't. Everybody's learning and it's fun. I'm having a joy building this so far. You can see I'm at the power supply stage right now and we're gonna carry on. So if that's all you were looking for, feel free to leave the video, or if you want to see the rest of the tour of the motherboard and all my mistakes and enjoy it, feel free to watch the rest of the video. Thank you so much. Welcome back everybody. Today, normally what I do is I mount my motherboard first so it doesn't bounce around or get dinged up or anything. And then I start mounting things to it. But right now I'm kind of in this, I want to make sure this, which is my hard drive, fits on this motherboard. Okay? So everything else looks like it's compatible with my CPU, with my video card, my memory. But what about my hard drive? So let's bust this open and have a look here. Like I said, this is, you guys probably have, if you haven't watched my first video, this is just a, I think it's made by Gigabyte, Z790 AORUS Master Gaming Motherboard, LGA 700, which matches my CPU. So let's pull this out here real quick. This is a pretty heavy piece of hardware right here. Let's see if we can pop this out without damaging anything. I want the documentation. Let's get rid of this box. Just yeet that over there. All right. So, real quick, let's identify what we're looking at here. So I see the obvious, CPU port. Looks like they have a cover on it, which is good. They have a big heatsink right here. This looks like your interface for all of your, so we have the display port here, USB-C, USB, USB 3. We have, I'm not sure what all that is right there. Some sort of coaxial connectors. And then we have our audio over here. We have an optical out. And it looks like mic in and line out. Okay, 3.5 millimeter attachments there. So here's our PCIe 5 slot for our video card. What's under this cover? See, that's my question. Looking at other things, it looks like we have the power. It looks like this is where the power is going to be plugged in right here. So we have our power connectors. This is the USB for case USB. Here's USB 3.2 it says. All right, that's fine. We have some pins I don't want to damage right here. And I can't read through, there's a glare off of this right now, so not entirely sure. There's a light over here. I'm going to point that light over here, give us a little bit more light for the camera, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's open this up very carefully and this huge static bag, anti-static bag here. Now, just to be clear, this is a soft surface here, so I have to be careful because all the pins sticking out of the bottom of this will stick to that. I may, do I want to put it on cardboard? Let me put it on the cardboard and see how it goes. We'll just transfer this real gently like that. Okay, there's our motherboard. Doing our best to be careful with this. All these stickers everywhere. I'm going to open up and look at some documentation here. Wireless module approvals, regulatory notices. All right, that was exactly what we expect. All right, nanocarbon coating. You mean spray paint? Cool. All right. Everything, let's see. Yeah, obviously. Memory goes here, CPU. Video card is going right here. Team up, fight on. Okay, and then these are the other PCI slots. Let's see if there is a location for this. In order to open this, we're going to use a little knife here and very gently open. Intel SSD 6. We're going to put that box inside of another box, and I have another piece of sticky tape to cut. My knife could be sharper. I know. And so here's what we're looking at for our SSD. Pretty cool. But where do I plug this in? See, that's why I'm having a look at this. To me, it looks like this comes up, and I wonder if it goes underneath here. So is this just 2 screws that hold this down? 4 screws? Let's have a look here. Oh, it peels. Nice. Well, here we go. Let's start up. The screw's too loose. This screwdriver's not going to work. Let me get another screwdriver. I'll be right back. All right, so we have another screwdriver. It's not rusty at all. What are you talking about? It's supposed to look like that. Okay, that's tighter. We'll spin that one out. And spin this one out. We spin until we hear it click as the threads fall back down. Let's see if this is removable. Are those still holding it in place? That one was. And then this side. Is connected with these 2 screws. So we'll gently back these off. I wasn't 100% sure those were attached like this. I wasn't sure it was attached to that. Let's back it out. See, understanding what you're getting into here is important. Okay, so we're very gently going to pull this up. I think this is just a cover, but I want to be sure there's no wires attached. No wires attached. All right. So this is where I imagine I'm going to be plugging in my, so you see these 2 ports right here? That's where I'm going to be mounting my SSDs. And so from the look of it, I can see the pin goes through here to right here, and this should just clip in. Usually these kind of allow you to slide them in at an angle, and then when you press it down, you can lock it with your little locks right here. And we have 4 different spaces here. My guess is that there will be a 1, 2, 3, 4 priority positioning on these, and I don't know what the priority positioning is. My other question is, I see some Gigabyte protective film down here. Is this some sort of adhesive, or is that merely like an anti-static protection for the solid state drives? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get on and see if there is a priority here. I can't imagine there would be, because with normal SATA, you can just plug and play into any SATA you want. So that's where that's going to go. I think I'm going to put it, just for aesthetics, I think I'm going to put it right here, because that looks like a lone spot right there. A little 2 terabyte right there. While I have the cover off, let's just review what's going on here. Okay, so we have built-in Wi-Fi. We have our mechanical inputs and outputs right here. So spinning around here, let me read some of these things, if you can see. This is F audio. Master LED1, LED-C1, noise sensor, system fan 3. Okay, that's an important one to know. Here's a USB 2, F like USB 2, F USB 1. We have fan 4, sys fan pump. So that's probably for like a liquid cool. Fan 5 pump. All right, that makes sense. SPI TMP. Not sure. FP front panel. Okay, that makes sense. A front panel. And it has some other things written in here in really small print. Let's see if I can read this for you. It looks like that one says PLED HD PW plus PW minus power probably. Is that R something, CI something, speak. So these are probably for like front LEDs on certain cases where if your hard drive is active, the light's going to be on. If the power's on, there's going to be an LED that's active. So that's what it looks like what that is. That's your front panel lights. Spinning it through here, we have THB-C1. I'm not sure what these are. I don't want this to slide, so holding it here. These look like SATA attachments to me. Yeah, I would just, yeah, those to me look like the SATA attachments. If you want to run something via SATA cable, which I might get another SSD. I might drop it in there, or I might just plug it in via SATA. Then we have USB. This one says FU320G. This is made in China, but this also looks like power to me. There's an Intel Core processor, but that might not be. Anyway, these are our DDR5 slots right here. We just drop our memory in here. We have some sort of LED display, Intel Core processor, and this one says CPU opt, CPU fan, fan sys, fan 6 pump. All right, so another pump right there. BRG 12 volt GDV. All right. So lovely. Everything here looks pretty straightforward. It answered my question about this. This is what threw me off. On the Newegg site, this is a pretty heavy chunk of aluminum. But on the Newegg site, they didn't show a picture with this off. So that's what it looks like with it off. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of research, make sure I can install this hard drive in any one of those positions. And I'll be back, and I'm going to mount this to my case and go from there. So everything else, I mean, here's the handle to, CPU, we'll do that separate. I'm excited about this build. It's, oh look, here's a little power button right here. Cool. So I just want to touch everything. You know how you're just like, yeah. But I'm going to also peel these because it looks like these are going to get hot. And if I leave these on, I don't want them to melt. How come your computer smells like burning plastic? Because they put shiny, peely stuff on there. We have our clock battery right there. I always call those clock batteries system battery, you know, whatever. I remember those things die and you have to replace them. Even back in the old 486 days, they had those little batteries. All right, so we're gonna move things around here, figure out where to mount this, and then I'm gonna mount this onto my case, and we'll see you there. So I did a lot of reading, and it seems like the general recommendation is the same with like old school like RAM. You want to be the closest you can to the CPU, just distance-wise. And you can see there's kind of some writing on each one of these. It's just, all it says is something like something M2, and they're all labeled the same. So that said, I also read right here, it says Gigabyte, remove before use. So I guess I'm supposed to peel these, which is going to be super easy because my big fat fingers can get in there real easy. Thanks a lot, Gigabyte. I'm going to use a decal and see if I can prop that up with this little piece of decal. All right, there we go. Removed. So, is that tacky? Oh, it is tacky. Great. All right, so let's just install this now, and then I'll drop this whole. I want to put the cover back on, this aluminum heat sink cover thing on before I install the motherboard. So I'm just going to drop this SSD in right now. All right, let's make sure this is in the open position. Okay, that looks good. We're going to line this up. Let me turn this so you guys can see better. Okay, here we go. So here's the slot we're going to drop it in. Make sure we're aligned with the pin correctly. Now we should be able to install this at a little 20-degree angle right here. All right, so now we just gingerly rock this out. We're going to gently move it over here. Install this. Click. Push it down. Cinch that into place. Ding! Lovely. All right, so this is the heat sink here. Is there a right way or a wrong way? The text is facing this way, so I'll line this text up with that. All right. Here we go. And so this big thing goes back on as well. Okay. So maybe I shouldn't have removed any of those plastic peels over there. Holler at me in the comments if I totally botched that. So if anybody's watching this and you're thinking about building a computer, read the comments first. So you can see everybody tell me how to not to. How to not to. Okay, let's make sure these are all seated properly. Okay, that one is seated. That one feels good as well. That one. And this one. All right. I like it. I am looking. What else was I going to do? Oh, I remember. I was going to peel off all of this plastic. Remove before use. Remove before use. So much of this. Oh, here's another one right here. What was that? That's a tiny little tab. That was weird. Nice. All right. So I'm going to very gingerly pick this up. I'm going to look at the nice protection down there. All right, I see some mounting screws. So one of the reasons why I was looking down here is, number one, I want to see if there's anything sensitive down here, but there's also all these mounting points right here where I'm going to mount this to my case. There's obviously one there. Huh, interesting. And there's these little holes right here too that look like mounting points. So we have quite a few mounting options here. Let's get the motherboard out and we'll transfer this into there, and then we'll start mounting CPU and DDR and GPU, and maybe with the case I'll put the PSU in first. Either way, we're going to pull the case over here and keep going.